G'day and welcome to another big edition of the RDFNL Footy Show. Thanks to our friends at Ontime Delivery Solutions. We're highlighting round 14. My name's Yeendy and joined by Tara Murray from the Star Weekly. We've finally finished round 13. Now we've only got a handful of weeks to go.
It is, and we've got a cracker round of matches that will have could have a big impact on the ladder and where the teams sort of finish. So we've got a couple of your top sides playing each other, a couple of the middle sides, and then a couple of those bottom sides as well. So you've got some really important matches. Let's
talk up the big one where there's so much riding on the line. A nice little rivalry. It is Wood and Heskett taking on Romsey.
Look, this is probably the biggest match of the round. You've got Romsey sitting in 6th, and then you've got Wood and Heskett in 7th. So there is 2 games between these sides. So for the Hawks to play finals, they probably need to win this week, and they probably need to win well. I don't know how much percentage-wise we'll come into it, but you look at it with both sides playing one of the lower sides that you'd expect to win and have big wins. The other match, they've both got to play Riddle. So that's going to be pretty interesting. We've all seen what Riddle has done to every team in the competition in recent weeks. So you put Riddle down for a win there. So look, Romsey gets a win here. That's all but seal the final spot. Wood and Heskett get a win. It sort of keeps that alive, and look, could come down to them having to beat Riddle. But then we've seen Wood and Heskett on their day. They did knock off Diggers Rest earlier in the season. That they can play some really good football.
And we know Romsey are most capable of finishing the rest of the season undefeated as well in the home and away season. But at the end of the day, Riddle does stand in that way. And as you've highlighted during the week, they've won their last 10 games. That's going to be crucial for any of those sides.
It is, and that's what. And I saw last time that Romsey played Riddle, and Riddle absolutely destroyed them. They could have quite easily won that by 100 points. So we've seen the form guide there. But obviously, this match here, you've got Romsey, who is really starting to find a little bit of form. Wood and Heskett return to the winners' list after a really poor run of form, which saw them drop a couple of matches that they wouldn't have expected to. Obviously, I do say that, but then they did lose to Melton Centrals last up, so they have dropped a couple they would expect. So it's going to be tough for them, but they really need this win.
Who wins this one?
Look, I think you have to go Romsey. The form Romsey's shown the last couple of weeks, they took it up to Diggers Rest. They did knock off Macedon, so they've shown some really good form, having played a lot of those lower sides. Now they're testing it against those top sides and really proving that they can match it.
Yeah, it should be very interesting to watch on paper. Sunbury Kangaroos play host to Riddle.
Look, this is obviously Sunbury Kangaroos have struggled at times against Riddle, and I think they had a really poor performance last time out against them. So they'll be looking for a better performance at home. Have seen at times at home they have been able to match it with these better sides for 2-3 quarters. I think Rupert's Wood earlier in the season. Well, when if they at least do that and show what they can do, they on their day. They need all their stars firing, plus those lesser stepping up as well to show that. But I'm expecting Riddle to continue on.
They're a machine that just keeps getting better and better with every week. Really, they've taken on the best and they've beaten them, and they've taken on the lower sides and beaten them. I think that probably their Achilles heel at the moment is their poor goal kicking.
It is, and that's what I spoke to Jamie Elliott a few weeks ago, and he admitted that. He goes, goal kicking's probably been their thing, and they've been practicing it at training. I think they moved the goalpost one night or took out the point post just to focus on it, and they were getting those goals, but it's in that game day situation they need to step it up. Obviously, they had over 50 scoring shots last week, but their conversion was only about the 50%. You'd like to get that up to at least 70 to 80%.
Yeah, because ultimately you put that in a finals scenario and the pressure increases even more. So that makes it harder for them to convert.
It is, especially, and look, they're getting the opportunities they've got a number of different forwards who can stand up on their day. So it's just about it's those little things about finishing off which could take them to that next level.
Speaking of something else, finishing off, Sunbury Kangaroos, we're just looking to finish off the season on a positive note, and they're going to have to throw the kitchen sink to be competitive against the Bombers.
It is, obviously. They've got the Bombers and then they've got Macedon the following week. So I think they do finish the season with a match against one of those lower sides. But for them, they want to get a couple more wins. They could help shape that top 6. And look, we have seen they can at times match it with those top sides. It's just haven't been able to do it for the full 4 quarters.
While we've said that Wood and Heskett and Romsey is the match of the round, we say that in the importance of what happens in the finals in terms of what 6th and 7th. But we've also got Wallen and Diggers Rest, which in theory is the blockbuster this weekend.
It is, but we do have another game which you could actually be the match of the round. But talking about that, you've got 2 really good sides. You've got one who's come off an upset loss. The other side did what they had to do to get the win on the weekend. And this sort of shapes the finals. Both of these teams are sitting on 40 points at the moment, the same as Riddle. So they're sitting on 3rd and 4th. And it's probably important in the scheme of things, looking at the run home, Diggers Rest has Wallen, Broadford and Melton Centrals. So you'd say they beat Broadford. Melton Centrals is probably probably a little bit more interesting now than what it was about 5 weeks ago, where Wallen's got Diggers Rest, Lancefield and Rupertswood. So this match is vital to maybe get that second or third spot. And look, in the past, we've always spoke about number 3 being the best spot to finish, where this year probably not as convincing, with obviously Romsey or Wood and Heskett likely to finish in that 6th spot. So it's quite interesting there. It'll be a very important match in the scheme of things.
How do you see this one unfolding?
Look, I have tipped Diggers, but at the same time, I expect Wallen to bounce back after a disappointing performance against Melton Centrals. That was probably their most disappointing performance of the year. I think they were missing a couple of players from the midfield who hopefully will come back in the next few weeks, but I think it'll be quite an interesting match.
Yeah, I do think Wallen will get up the way that they'll bounce back. I think both sides are very evenly matched, got a lot of goal-kicking options and strong midfields and a strong backline as well. So, I put these guys in the same category as your Ruperts was in terms of versatility and widespread of options. So I think that has all the makings of being a great match.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. Both of these sides have a lot of options and versatility. And look, this could be a finals match that we will see later down the track. We did see last time the two teams met. Diggers Rest won. I know Wallen didn't get a few goals late, but the Burrows were quite convincing last time.
So I'm guessing this might be your match of the round. We've got Broadford and Rockbank. Is this the match of the round that is going to draw a lot more interest?
It could be. Obviously, you've got Broadford looking for their first win of the season and the Rams looking for their second win. So obviously, in context of the season, your Woodend Heskett versus Romsey is probably, and your Wallen versus Diggers Rest are probably more important. But this one's probably got a lot of interest for these other sides trying to get the wins and trying to get that confidence. We've seen both sides at times have shown glimpses. Rockbank were unlucky not to get a second win against Lancefield a few weeks ago, so it's going to be quite interesting. I think I'll tip the Rams. Obviously, look, they've probably been a little bit better and a little bit more consistent than Broadford across the season, but both of these sides will be looking to get on the winners list.
I think Broadford are a massive chance here, especially I think with Sean Duggan playing his 200th game, a great stalwart of not only the club but the competition. I wouldn't be surprised if they get up for him, especially at home. They're going to make a big occasion of it. There'll be a big crowd over there at the Harley Hammond Reserve. Home ground advantage. I think the stars were aligning for Broadford to open up on their first win of 2018.
Look, this could be a cracker of a game and could quite easily be the closest one of the game, which says a lot considering the other matches we have just spoken about. So, look, both of these, whichever side gets the win, there'll be a lot of happy supporters and happy players after the game.
Rupertswood and Lancefield over at the Tank.
Look, this is probably the match that could be very one-sided, probably the most one-sided match of the round, I would say. So obviously Lancefield's shown bits and pieces that they can at times match it with those sides. They did win 2 games in a row, but they were obviously against Lancefield and Broadford, and then they were sort of brought back down to earth against, I think it was Diggers Rest, that last match. So obviously with this, Sharks have been a little bit up and down. Obviously injuries have hit them, so they're looking to start getting those guys back. You've got a lot of your experienced players missing out of that side, so it does give the younger guys another opportunity, but I'd expect the Sharks to be way too strong.
Yeah, it'll be a big test for the Sharks in the sense that they've had a few key injuries to star personnel as well, so this will be an opportunity for them to sort of restructure a little bit and hopefully sort of build that lineup that'll take them in the finals.
Look, and it'll be interesting to see whether they get any players back. I think the only one that's sort of been ruled out for the season at this point is Dylan Pottlezak.
Yep. And I have heard that Brett Chambers could be out as well.
Well, I've heard Dean Putt could be out as well. So there's a lot. But then at the same time, last time I spoke to Nick Ash, he was expecting Chambers, Putt and Swallow all to be back before finals time. So if you can get those 3 guys back, they're 3 of the best players, not only in Rupertswood, but the competition, so that really strengthens them. But I think they've played 40 odd players, so they have got a lot of depth, a lot of players who have come through the 18s and your reserves, so they do have a lot of options there. Obviously, any side missing those 3 players are massive, but at the same time, they have shown they have got a lot of players who can step up.
And the Tigers, hopefully, they can be competitive on the day. And the final match, which is a big danger game, we've got Macedon v Melton Centrals.
This has become a very interesting match. Look, you look on paper, you go, okay, Macedon would be too strong for Melton Centrals, but Melton Centrals have knocked off Woodend, Heskett and Wallen in their last 2 matches, where you've got Macedon actually lost to Romsey. So Macedon probably needs to regroup. They're another side that's had a number of injuries, so they'll be looking to get some of those key guys back in the midfield in the run-up to finals. If they can get them, would definitely be a boost. I think Macedon will be too strong, but the confidence is high at Melton Centrals. Speaking with their coach Matt Sproul, he said they've got one side that's in that top echelon. Why can't they get 2 or 3? They do have a tough run home, so but if they can actually shape this top 6, obviously playing Macedon, Rupertswood and Diggers Rest, if they can get another 1 or 2 wins here, makes it very interesting for those top sides.
Who do you see winning this one?
I think Macedon will bounce back.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Centrals get the upset win, but it'll be a great game nonetheless. And We've got junior finals kicking off in the competition this weekend on Sunday, so there's plenty of venues that'll be hosting games, so check out the RDFNL website for full details there. Tara, thanks so much for joining us on the show, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for having me.